We're not all magicians, but we each have an ace up our sleeve. And with that is a very interesting thing to learn about. Hi, my name is Kyle. I'm the host of the You Talk We Listen podcast, and today I'm joined by co-host
Miata Munda Phipps.
From the very first episode, and also a recurrent character in the entire series. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really happy to be here with you.
And what is the topic for today?
What is interesting about you?
And most specifically, what is the most surprising thing about you? Now, we already have someone. Can I just have you introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Mariam.
Another recurrent character.
Yes.
And what is the most surprising / interesting thing about you?
Okay, so there are two things. First, I speak 4 languages.
Oh,
French being the main one.
okay. Ooh la la.
I also speak English. I'm pretty decent in Spanish. I mean, I'm taking Spanish right now, and I think I could go to a Spanish-speaking country and not be completely lost. And I also speak Wolof, which is my native language.
Okay, so where are you from?
Senegal.
Okay.
And how did you pick up each language?
Okay, so I was born and raised in Africa. My parents are Senegalese. I'm Senegalese. So that's where the Wolof comes from. Senegal and all the countries I've lived in so far are French-speaking countries. So more conveniently, I just went to French school. So I did my entire education in French. In French school, you have to learn English. It's something we start at elementary school all the way through 12th grade. So we basically been learning English since forever. And then in addition to English, at some point you have to add another language. And I just added Spanish because, it's just easy. And no, it wasn't very hard.
So my African sister, I have a question for you. Now, if you were caught speaking English in your school, would they have any punishment? Because I know there are some countries.
If we're caught speaking English?
Yeah, if you're caught speaking English in your school, because you were supposed to speak French.
It's not that we were supposed to speak French. I mean, if you're speaking English, that's good for you.
Yeah.
There's a thing I do with my friends. American people laugh when I do that. It's just I'm speaking French, and at some point I'll just put an English word in the sentence because I feel more like saying the word in English than saying it in French. So we used to do that. With my friends, I could do that. I can speak French and just throw some English words in it because I know they know the word, and I could just say it because we would understand ourselves.
So you mix it. We
mix. But you wouldn't have any issues with your speaking a foreign language in school. They don't really care. It was a very big school.
Okay, that's interesting because in where my mom was from or where she's from, they would get punished. They would get whooped for speaking
It's in
English.
English.
For if they spoke their natural dialect.
Yeah, I heard
they would
things
get
like
whooped.
that because it's an English-speaking country.
Yeah.
We're in French-speaking countries.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same, and there were so many dialects. I mean, you could basically do whatever you want.
Now, with your native language, is it only limited to Senegal, or is it also kind of in the bordering countries?
Okay, it's the Wolof. It's mainly Senegal and Gambia.
Okay.
And but I think I'm more comfortable in French than Wolof because I've been learning that in school and stuff, and I haven't always lived in Senegal. My Wolof got much better when I went back to living in Senegal in December 2020. When I live in Senegal or when I would go over the summer there, I would pick up some things. For example, when I'm mad, I scream in French.
Why? If you don't mind me asking why, is it just easy to go back to it, or is it
because in English I have to translate. So when I'm mad, I just speak in French.
And it's a natural thing.
Yeah, it just flows out. And the thing is, when I live in Senegal for when I stay there for 2 months or more, I pick up this habit of just getting some words out in Wolof because I cannot translate them. It's just a word.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, I've asked every person that English is not their native language. What language do you think in? And is there certain scenarios where you think in one language versus the other?
Yeah,
honestly, it
and
depends.
then also, do you dream in English?
Wait, I never thought of that.
Because my mom, she says that when she dreams, she only hears her actual language. So do you dream and hear people in English?
It depends.
It depends. So you've heard both.
Yes, I don't know. I rarely remember my dreams like 15 minutes after waking up. But I think I do dream in English sometimes. Because English is really something I was personally interested in. Like, it's something I started watching movies in English and reading in English. So I think I actually picked it up before coming here. Like, sometimes I would just think in English. But it's always easier to do it in French.
Yeah.
Ever since I came here, it's much easier because I just hear English all the time, and I really do get sick of the language.
Now, what about like math? Like, do you think?
Oh no, definitely in French.
Definitely in French. Okay.
I cannot.
Because I know that in French, like you guys, or in Senegal, you guys do things differently mathematically. So what was that one thing you were telling me and James about? You guys don't put the comma. What do you guys do?
Yeah, that thing I struggle with. Because like we don't use a point, we use a comma.
So if you're doing 1,000,
we just
use
space
a
it
point.
out. We don't put a comma in it.
Oh.
Like, you space out the three numbers. Like, you see 1,000, it's 1 and 3 zeros. We space out like the 1 and the 3 zeros, but we won't put a comma. A comma for us is a point.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about that because, like, obviously it's not wrong, you know.
It's not
like,
wrong, but it's definitely like
think it's
the
a
French way
European
of doing
thing.
things. It's a
Yeah.
European, yeah. Well, that's really cool. Can you say something for us in Spanish?
I don't know what to say.
Can you say I love chocolate in Spanish?
Me gusta chocolate.
Oh.
Nice.
Wait, can you say the same sentence in French now?
J'aime le chocolat.
Nice.
You see how it's weird because like the way I talk changed
Okay.
Yeah.
depending
And
on
then,
the language.
And then let's do Wolof. Let's do
Okay, I
Wolof.
have no idea how to say
Oh.
chocolate in Wolof. So I'll say in French because like that's mostly what we do. Like, we mix French and Wolof. Now I wonder how to phrase it.
Now you need to ask your mom. Now you need
No,
to
because
ask-
like I know. Okay, I can try. Dama bëgg chocolat.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful language.
Thank you.
Wow. Now, you mentioned that was the one thing interesting about
Yeah.
you. What's the second thing?
I've been in 10 different countries. Like, I've lived in 6 different countries and visited 4 others.
If you don't mind me asking, which one? Like, I would say like top 3. What
Yeah.
were they?
Like my favorite ones
Yes.
where I lived.
Yes.
Senegal, okay. The first one out of all is Ivory Coast. I loved Ivory Coast. Like, that's like my country of heart. I just don't have the nationality. Yeah, but it's a detail. After Ivory Coast, I would say Senegal. Honestly, after Ivory Coast, I just go from like which one was the least worst experience for me to rank them
Wow.
because it wasn't that great.
So which one's the worst then? I really am curious.
Yeah, and what happened?
Honestly, 2 of them I don't really remember, like Tunisia and Mali. I was really young. I was 6 years old, 6, 7, 8. I don't really remember that, so I wouldn't have an objective judgment about that because like I was a kid. I obviously didn't experiment it the same way as I would as a teenager. But Senegal was hell because it was high school, and I just moved there in the beginning of the year. School wasn't great, and my entire life was around school. Like, you go to school from 8 to 5 every single day. You go home, you do your homework. It's the same thing every day, and you're at school from Monday through Saturday. So it was just like school was hell, my life was hell, and I didn't like it. So it was my home. I could go visit my grandparents from time to time, but it just wasn't great. So that's why Senegal is like third. I don't count the 2 others out of the 5 I lived in because it's not objective, obviously. I'm not counting the United States because I just got here and I still haven't gotten like time to fully adapt. So it's biased. So out of the 3, Ivory Coast first, Guinea second, and Senegal third.
Nice, nice.
Now, any plans, or do you want to visit other countries that you haven't been
Yeah.
to? And what are they?
Okay, so I've been to France, but I haven't visited the parts of France I wanted to. Like, I've been to France, but I've been to Paris, and I wouldn't do that again because Paris is nice, but Paris is nice for 3 days. The time for you to go to the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and Versailles. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason why you wouldn't want to go to Paris. And traffic's terrible. Like, just Paris is not. I would not want to live
It's
there.
just a no-no.
It's
Every
just
3
Paris.
days.
I would like to go to London.
Uh-huh.
I would like to go to. There are a bunch of African countries I want to visit because I've never been to Cabo Verde. It's like small islands next to Senegal. It's not really far, but it's great. I want to go there. I want to go to Tanzania. I want to go
Yeah.
to Rwanda, Ethiopia. I could give you a list of a lot of African countries, but I
Yeah.
really want to visit Africa. I want to go to Cuba.
You're gonna go to Cuba, so why?
Yeah, there's a diplomatic
That's
thing.
huh?
I don't know. La Habana seems great.
La Habana. What's La Habana?
Havana.
La
How do you say it in English?
Havana? Or like
Havana.
Havana?
Yeah, Havana.
Yeah. That place. Like, kind of like, not, is it the capital?
It is.
It is, okay.
And I want to go to Canada, but just to visit my friends because that country is cold. And I want to visit the States because I'm here. Like, there's some places I want to go to.
Mhm. And what state specifically do you want to go to?
Okay, I want to go. Okay, I'm going to Washington in December.
That's a good
Washington,
one.
D.C., not the state. DC.
Okay.
I want to go to New York because it's New York.
It's
I want to
big.
go to the South Coast, like the East, West.
So
West.
like
California, Florida.
that's the West Coast, isn't
West.
that?
Yeah, West Coast is going to be
California, Oregon.
Okay, I want
Wash-
to like all of those
Washington.
fancy places, Miami. I just want to go and see how it is.
like all the cities, like
Yeah.
the big ones. Okay.
What about
Interesting.
Hawaii? Nah.
I don't know.
Nah. Oh, after what's happened over there,
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be
I'm not.
hard. for
I
anyone.
don't know. I'm not very attracted by those islands. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's far, and it's expensive, and I am not sure it's gonna be worth the trip.
Yeah.
Which is honestly fair. That's
Yeah.
honestly very fair.
Yeah.
Because now it's like really touristy.
Yeah.
Like-
They're telling tourists to leave the area anyway, so it just probably wouldn't be time. It wouldn't be the time
Yeah.
to go over there. But
Yeah.
California's a big one. That's a good one.
Yeah, my top list would definitely be Africa. Like, there's so many things to see in Africa,
Mhm.
and honestly, in the United States, because I'm already here. So
Do you feel like a lot of people like overlook Africa
Yeah,
when it goes to
definitely.
visiting it? And how does that make you feel that like, and who do you think does that for the most part? Like, do
Yeah.
you feel like a lot of like USA citizens
it's
kind of overlook?
ignorance. Like, ignorant people are the one who do that.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like if you try a minimum to like know about stuff, you get interested in them. But like if you just decide that it's not worth looking at, it's just like you obviously don't have enough information. Because like
Yeah.
Africa is amazing. Like the history, the places, like all the places I was talking about. Like you're telling me about Hawaii, but I'm pretty sure Tanzania is the same thing, just in Africa.
Mhm.
Like it just looks the same.
Mhm.
Like everything you have, like Sierra Leone, I've been there. It's amazing. Like you have those white sand beaches, clear water, and people just don't know about that. It's
And
amazing.
and it's fine dining. You
Yeah.
know, I showed my professor a picture of us in a restaurant. He's like, "This is in Africa?" I'm like, "Yes, it was nice. Everyone."
I don't know if people here have this image of Africa,
They
but
do.
I know in France they think we all live in villages with like the huts.
Yes.
And I'm like, it is. Okay, this is one part of Africa, but we are so much more than this. It's just like as if I say that like the United States is all skyscrapers. It's not. You'll have it in one city in downtown. You won't have it in every single city and everywhere. So like you cannot just look at one thing and think that this is the whole country.
It devalues the whole continent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that example. That was a really good example. Thank you so much for speaking up for Africa, saying it's beautiful.
Because it is.
It is.
Now, any other facts or interesting tabloids about you?
I have an identical twin. So
Oh.
if you see someone on campus who doesn't say hi and you know me, it's not me. It's probably her. So yes.
I have to ask this question because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people do. Has there ever been an instance where like she was supposed to attend an event or you were supposed to attend an event and you guys just swapped places? No. Okay.
You guys should try that. I'd
Yeah,
actually
everyone
like to see
tells me that, and everyone has been telling me that. But it's just that like we never felt like we needed to do that. We could do it for fun, but like we're almost everywhere together, or like we're not taking exams at the place of each other because like we've pretty much always been taking the same classes up until now because like we don't have the same major. So I'm not taking a health science exam for her because I know nothing about health sciences. Like it wouldn't help.
Interesting.
So do you guys have like a How do you say it?
Oh, it's been a while since I heard that one. No, we did not.
Not to
Oh, are you guys like on like the same?
Telepathy.
Yeah, are you guys like on the same wavelength most of the time?
I mean, it's weird because sometimes we'd say the same thing at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And that scares people. That scares people, but like we do that sometimes, but we
Your
don't do
twin sister
telepathy.
is calling me right now.
Oh Lord.
Shout out to Fatu.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think so? Interesting. I mean, is there anything like most people wouldn't know about having identical twin? Like, is there like a certain fact that like most people like overlooked or just don't know?
I don't know. We don't have the same fingerprints,
That's interesting.
but we have the
That's
same
true.
DNA.
Yeah. Wait, you don't have the same fingerprints?
No, they mixed us up at the airport once. We don't
Oh,
know.
no.
We definitely don't.
That's
They put
not-
it like my face, like my identity with her fingerprints, and then it doesn't match. So we lost a bunch of time.
And that's probably very confusing to explain
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys don't have the same fingerprints.
Yeah.
Now
we
I
don't.
wonder if all twins go through this because
Huh.
I really wonder. It sounds like it's frustrating sometimes.
I mean, we don't even look alike that much.
Yeah, I can see the resemblance.
we-
or not
you could
so
tell
much
us apart.
resembling. Yeah.
Some twins you cannot. So I wonder how they live, because
You wonder how they lived.
it's hard having people always confuse you and like not having people realize that you're two different individuals. That like you're
Yeah.
two different humans.
Yeah.
And it's also very confusing in like social interactions because people often don't even make the effort to like tell you apart. They like just see you as the twins.
yeah.
It's like a thing for them. It's not like two different people, and that's often like very upsetting because they just see you as the other person's sister.
Not as your own individual human.
Yeah, because like she's a little louder, like she's more.
Like extroverted.
Yeah,
and
she has a stronger not a stronger personality, but like
presence.
yeah, a stronger presence. So like I'm often her sister, and people don't try to like, and like obviously because of like my, people need to understand that I'm not a saint. Like I swear to God, people are, some of them are afraid of me. Some of them don't talk to me because I'm like,
This girl is so fun to be around.
Now, I also want to preface this to the listeners. She's wearing a hijab,
yes,
so that's why a lot of people think she's a saint.
yes.
That she may not dance, she may not sing lyrics.
Yes.
No, she'll dance, she'll sing lyrics. You know, she'll shake around. Not like crazy, but you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Well,
Well, if that is it, thank you so much.
You're
As
welcome.
always, thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
bisous.
All right, can I just have you introduce yourself?
My name is Jacob Board. I am a freshman here at OU, and I am studying journalism.
And what is the most surprising / interesting thing about you?
I would say I'm just a little bit misunderstood, as in people don't know who I am truly as like a one-on-one type of level, like character-wise.
And how do you feel like you rather be interpreted? Well, like, how would you like see people to see you?
Well, it's just like don't judge a book by its cover. It's like, if you don't know me, just try to get to know me. Like, just don't try to like just judge me based off of how I look and how I am. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And-
That's my biggest thing about it.
And do you feel like others feel the same way? Do you feel like a lot of other people kind of or overlooked or not truly understood?
Yeah. Truth be told, it's like we all have perspectives of how we look at each other. Whether it can be a positive perspective or it can be a negative perspective. But I feel like people just go based off of looks, just like, oh, he's this just because of how he looks, or she's this just because of how she looks. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes. And how do you think people can overcome that?
Talk to each other,
Yeah.
understand each other, know each other on a one-on-one basis. Like, just sit down and just talk to each other. I feel as if as humans we don't really know each other
Yeah.
because we don't get to know each other. Like, we just think that, oh, because of this and this and that and the third, we just look at each other a certain type of way, and it's It's very complicated. It can be very misleading in ways.
So it sounds like you've met some pretty judgmental people. Has anyone ever said anything to you, and have you defended yourself?
You know, honestly, how I look at it is there's always going to be a person who says something that is not really you, that doesn't really speak to you. But it's like, the way how I look at it, I don't care, because it's like, if I'm not causing you any hurt, harm, or danger, it's like, why do you care how I am? But it's like, I never really called anybody out on it like yet. I don't really call people out on it. I just take it, I just chalk it up, and I just keep it moving.
It's just unnecessary hate you feel, unwarranted.
Say it again?
It's like unwarranted hate, like for no reason. Like you didn't do anything to them, but they're judging you and they're saying things about you.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think you're like saying it in like other words, like instead of like looking at people talking about you and like the outside, focus on the inside. Focus on who you know yourself to be, because that's who really matters. You, how you
Exactly.
perceive yourself, not how other people perceive you.
Right on.
Yeah.
And on record, how do you want others to perceive you?
Huh?
If you had a word to choose, like how do you want others to perceive you?
Like, who are you? Like, what do you want people to know about you? Who is Jacob?
A wise old man. Just a wise old man. I promise you, that's what I am, a wise old man. I mean, yeah, there are a little bit of times in which I can have my weird moments, but who
Everyone
doesn't?
does, yeah.
Exactly.
Everyone does.
You
We're
get it.
humans.
But I mean, if you really get to know who I am, you will know that you will learn a lot of things about me. A lot, actually. A lot.
Now you say old. Don't mind me asking. How old are you?
I am 18 years old. I will be 19 in February.
But I like how you call yourself wise and he's 18,
Yeah.
because I know, like, I read scripture and it says like it's not about you can perceive like someone who's older in age knows more, but it's like the spirit within a person. Like, what do you know in your time of like 18 years of living? So I won't discount that as wise, you know?
Thank you.
Do you feel that some people, because of your age, they don't feel like you're wise? Like, oh, he's only lived 18 years. Like, how can...
I mean, it's basically like, I don't get looked at as like the typical average 18-year-old male. You know, I don't say this, I don't say that, I don't act like this, or I don't act like that. I think that's what kind of separates me from the pack a little bit.
Wow.
And I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that.
Do you think that leads to judgment in a way? Because
Yeah,
you're a little bit...
I think that's what kind of makes me weird a little bit, because I don't act like the average 18-year-old. You know, I don't act like oh hey, I want to say this, or hey, I want to say that. Don't get me wrong, there are times in which I act my actual age, but it's times in which I don't. You know.
Well, I just feel encouraged with what you're saying, to get to know you and not see the outside, but look at the inside and hear the inside. So I think we should take some time to really talk to people and listen to them and hear what they have to say.
And another way how I like to look at it is, never judge a book by its cover. So I don't typically judge people off of how they look and how they act and stuff like that. If I do not know you, I don't judge you. But if I do know you, and if I've spent time to talk to you and get to know you, then I will necessarily judge you. Then I can judge you. Like what type of person you are. Like, how do you look at things, or how do you do things? That's how I typically look at you.
Yeah, some will say, like, look at the fruits of a person. Are they kind? Are they loving? Are they, generous? So, like, those are those things.
That is another good point. And that is what we like to call emotions. Some people like to show their emotions. Some people don't like to show their emotions. I'm kind of both at this point. There will be times in which I show my emotions. There will be times of which I do not show my emotions, because that's just the type of person I am.
And that's normal, though. I have a bunch of buddies that are just the same way. They feel like it's a proper time and place.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it.
And emotions are okay. I think there's like a stereotype where we have to like allow men not to show their emotions. If they're angry, they can't be angry. If they're sad, they can't be sad. And that's not cool. We're all human beings who deserve to showcase our emotions in the appropriate time.
because that's what some men are. Because that's what some men are taught. They were taught to never show their emotions around people. They were taught to just be strong. Okay, take it as it is, suck it up, and move on. That's also how I was taught a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, couldn't be no sissy boy. Had to be strong. You know. But there are which of times I've had my moments where I can see myself just trying to break down, but I try not to do it in front of no one, or people that I don't know, or just like people that I'm comfortable with that I can do it around. So yeah.
Yeah, that's wise, because I think when you're with people you know, like family and friends, you're okay in some stances to show your emotions. If you're around a stranger, how are they going to feel any empathy? Some people just don't have empathy like that. So I think it's really wise to be able to know where you're at if you're really going to break down, because we have moments like that. As human beings, we have to be real. Sometimes we have mental breakdowns. I mean, we're students, so sometimes we cry over chemistry. It's normal.
And that's the thing. It's all right to be young. It's all right to be young and have these emotions. It's all right to be young to feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? My biggest pet peeve is just that I don't like it when people try to take it out on others. Like, I get it. You might be going through something. That's very understandable. It's common. We all go through something. But it's like, never take it out on anyone.
Yeah.
And it may show just a little bit, but never try to take it out on anyone. That's the biggest lesson learned. Never take it out on anyone.
Guess it goes back to that golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated.
Amen.
Boils down to that.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, anything else? Any other words?
Not really. Nothing big on my mind, man. I said everything I needed to say.
We appreciate you, Jacob. We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Anytime. Right on.
Okay, can I have you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is James, and I go to OCC, and I'm on my second year, so I'm like a sophomore.
Nice. And what is the most interesting / surprising thing about you?
Well, most recent thing that I learned about myself that's like really interesting is I let my dog kiss me on the face.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people do that, unshockingly.
That's
Really?
kind of
Like letting your dog like kiss you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, even on, like, the lips, I'm not discriminate, you know what I mean? It's just my whole face.
So you let anything kiss you?
Anything? I wouldn't say anything. I'm not like, I'm not, like, promiscuous, you know?
Okay.
But, I mean, I feel like, a lot of people consider dogs their family, you know? And a lot of people, like, you know, they kiss their family on
Exactly,
the lips. So,
you
like,
know?
That's just interesting to me, because
I mean, like, all my life, I think the reason why I find it interesting now is because all my life I thought, like, you know, you look at, like, media and, like movies and stuff, and, like, where, like, have you ever seen those movies where, like, a dog is, like, rejoined with its, like, owner, and, like, the dog, like, tackles the person and, like, you know, like, gives them, like, a bunch of kisses and stuff? Like, I'm like, okay, that's normal, you know, like, that's what dogs do. And, there is like a biological aspect to it as well. Like, the reason I believe I've always been told that the reason that, like, a dog, like, will actually, like, want to kiss you, like, near the lips is because they will do that to, like, other dogs. They want to, like, eat the food from their mouth, and like, they'll try and take scraps and stuff. And so, of course, like, that's where we eat. So, you know, dogs automatically want to do that. So, but I mean, like, in hindsight, you know, I'm sure my dog has, like, you know, an aspect to it, like, affection. So, but yeah, I thought that was, like, really interesting. I don't know. I guess it's like not everyone does it, and, you know, everyone just has their kind of, like, own look at it.
you're not scared of the germs at all, potentially. Doesn't bother you.
My dog's pretty clean. I mean, like,
your dog's pretty clean.
I mean, like, he's
wash
like
it a lot?
he's mainly like an indoor dog, especially now that he's, like, older. You know, like, he doesn't really go outside and roll around in his own crap. So I mean, his legs are like nearly like malfunctioning. So I mean, like, it would be hard for him to roll around anywhere.
Now, here's a question, because some people, they won't even kiss their dog, not even, like, on the forehead. A lot of people will, and a lot of people won't. Where do you fall? Will you kiss your dog in the forehead?
Yeah, I would kiss my dog on the forehead. I mean, if he's gonna kiss me, I can kiss him, right? Like,
It goes both ways.
it goes both ways.
You kiss me, I kiss you.
It's only fair.
You know what? I'm happy for you guys that you have that fair relationship.
Yeah, you know.
like that.
I didn't need to set like a Geneva Convention for like how I kiss my dog, you know, like. Well, actually, that's not true. I should, because like you know that would be like you know there's certain like things you just don't do with your dog. So I mean like you probably should have a Geneva Convention. But
You have a contract with your dog.
Yeah.
Like a paw print. Like what do you?
that's his signature.
Oh my god.
What's your dog's name?
Rabbi.
Rabbi?
Yeah.
What breed?
What breed? He's a black Labrador Retriever. Yeah. I mean the origin of the name. Like his name is very like peculiar because Rabbi means teacher,
Yes.
and you know it's like what am I learning from a dog? But really like the origin of the name is because my mom she had a Jewish friend, and so I believe either her father was a rabbi, and so like you know, or their dog was named Rabbi too or something like that. But I forget the story. But yeah, so my mom named it after like kind of like a remembrance of a childhood friend. But I think it's a cool name.
That is a cool name.
Yeah, it's
I
like
like that
unique.
name.
Unique. It's very
Yeah.
unique.
It's better than naming your dog Rex. Everyone does that.
Yeah.
Or Ichabod.
Or Teddy.
Teddy? Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a fitting name for a dog too. I mean, my dog's pretty big, so you know, like, he kind of looks like a bear.
Don't mind me asking, how old?
How old? Oh, he's got to be like 12 now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
It
on his way out.
It seems like you guys have come a long way. I feel like I see that you're like very attached to your dog.
Oh,
when
yeah,
you
you know,
talk about him.
I was the person that wanted him. I remember we had a dog previously. My mom always wanted a golden retriever, and I remember it was like the 4th grade, and we went all the way outside of like the Detroit area. I don't know if it was like in Imlay or something like that, but it was like this place where they just like sold dogs, and they sold off the golden retriever that we kind of like told them we wanted, and I remember I bawled my eyes out the entire time.
Wow.
And my mom was like, James, do you have to get a dog right now? And I'm like, yes, I need a dog. Like I'm sitting there, yeah, like, and then so she's like, all right, you know what? We'll just get the next best thing. There was like a black lab mixed beagle there. We ended up naming him Samson. I remember the first memory that I had with that dog is he was like a baby, and like we had him on a towel, and he just took a crap in the car.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then after that dog got parvo.
What's parvo?
Parvo is I don't know exactly if it's like a worm or if it's just like a virus. I think
Okay,
it's a virus. And what it does is it attacks the brain of the dog, and basically my dog had brain damage, and so he really couldn't distinguish that well between friend and foe. And one time my uncle came over, and he like kneeled down to look at the dog, and the dog went like that to his chin, and he had to get stitches and go to like Beaumont Hospital.
Oh gosh, Samson.
Yeah.
Bad
no,
Samson.
Yeah. After that, we put Samson down. We were like, bad dog.
That's so sad.
Now you're going 6 feet under. So. But yeah, I mean, but yeah. So then after that, I was really like traumatized because like even though he had bit my uncle's chin off, I really loved him. Then, like a couple years later, it was like 7th grade. My mom was trying to surprise me, but my brother was like, "Guess what we got?" And he was like, "It's a surprise." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then like 30 seconds later, he's like, "It's a dog." And then my mom was like, "William, why are you saying this?" Because my mom knew how much I like cared about dogs.
Yeah.
So like yeah. And then I remember when we got the dog, there was a pamphlet that came with it. I like researched the entire pamphlet on like how to like feed him and like his like dietary habits and things that they could eat and things that they wanted. And yeah, no, I just I really loved Rabbi, and I wanted to like make sure that he was like happy and healthy, and that didn't turn out too good. But now that he's like 120 pounds, but what I will say is that initially my mom was like because the dog imprinted on my mom. She took care of him while I was at school. But now that like my mom is kind of like working more and I'm more at the house, I think I'm Rabbi's best pal. So yeah,
Adorable.
he always like greets me when I come in. Like he knows like I'll greet him. Like my sisters are just like, go away, but I'm like come here, and so like I try to like play different games with him and stuff like that. Like I got this one game. He's got this little like candy corn like squeeze toy, and I don't know. It's lasted forever. Like it's already like 2 months old, and like I have this game where like since he's like basically disabled almost because of his legs, he'll like accidentally the toy will fall out of his mouth and then it'll like roll away because it's like a cylinder, and he'll just look at it like this, and then like with his ears raised, it's like where's it going? And so he don't want to get up because he's like his legs hurt. So what I'll do is I'll grab it, I'll like stop it like a soccer ball and then like kick it his way and like watch him like munch at it. And so I've been trying to teach him like, hey, like after you do that, let it go again so I can kick it back to you. He hasn't learned that part yet, but I think we're getting somewhere. Yeah.
Well, anything else interesting or surprising about you?
I think like as like a college student, like you're just trying to like grind like the classes away and stuff, and then sometimes like you have like gen ed courses, and I think that something that's interesting about me is like most people will say like, you know what, I don't want to be in this class, I hate it, it has nothing to do with my degree, when will I ever apply this, right? And I think that's like a normal thing to say, but I think the difference between me and a lot of people is I don't ask like when will I be able to use this or like when can I use this ever. I ask like how can I. And so like anything I ever learn, I feel like and it, like I try to apply it and to something I've learned. I remember I was in like a level like 1000 geography course, and like it's just a gen ed, get it out of the way. And don't get me wrong, like I thought it was like the most boring class ever because I had to write like a 5-page essay every 2 weeks.
Damn.
And I had to like read a textbook that was like 1,000 pages long. It was like I spent more time on that class than I did on college algebra, trigonometry, and Gen Chem 1 combined in the same semester.
Gen Chem 1 is a hard one.
Yeah, and I spent more time on that class writing essays about the wind than actually like doing anything, like actually like learning the material. I felt like I was just kind of like okay, and then read, and then like okay, and then I wasn't learning anything. But the thing is though is I actually did learn quite a few things.
Okay,
Like-
so what did you learn?
Like while taking Gen Chem 1, you learn about gas laws, right?
Yes.
I had learned about gas laws in the Geo 1510 class before I did in chemistry.
That's absurd.
Yeah, I know. I learned about gas laws before because you need to know gas laws in order to understand pressure gradients and why clouds
and we're
move
trying
where
to
they
be
do.
future doctors, so we know about that.
Yeah.
PV equals
Pivner.
nRT.
Yeah.
Pivner.
Woo!
Exactly. And I learned about that because I needed to like learn about like cloud formations and stuff like that, and like and like wind,
I've
right?
heard
Like
of
why
stuff like
wind?
that.
Wind is the cause of a pressure gradient in air. It's
Yeah.
air moving from a higher pressure gradient to a lower pressure gradient.
Huh.
Yeah, I've heard
So-
a class about that. they
Yeah,
teach
so
you
it's
that.
like I actually did learn stuff, and not only that, in my trig class, and I learned about dampening motion, and I learned about polar coordinates in my trig class. And what polar coordinates is like every like most math when you like graph stuff in algebra is what's called the Cartesian plane. And it's like they're called rectangular coordinates because like they form like regular rectangular shapes. If you ever like take college algebra, you'll learn that things like circles are not functions. Like they don't like. Have you ever heard of the vertical line test?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So circles don't pass the vertical line test, so they're not functions. But if you convert them to polar, they are functions. And you can graph them on like a polar coordinate. But what I learned is that there are certain shapes that are made with like polar coordinates that they're called petals. They're like roses.
Oh,
And-
those are cool things where you can put them on your calculator, right?
Yeah, and I think the thing that I find interesting is that like I was making connections with it because the shapes that you make on the polar coordinates are the same shapes that electron orbitals make.
No way.
They're petals.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
We're learning something.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So you find enjoyment even in these like gen eds because you're able to connect it to other things.
Other classes,
And then
yeah.
you're like, when you get to those classes, you're like, oh wow, like
I remember this.
from that class.
Yeah.
And it's just like a big interconnected web.
Yeah, because I wanna see like the grand scheme, the big picture. Like, you know, I think you're not doing yourself justice if you look at a class and say like I can't learn anything from this. You're paying money for it. You might as well take something from it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, just like I think it's not only is it a waste of money, but it's a waste of time if you say to yourself, I learned nothing from this class, and then you have to ask yourself, did you want to learn anything from that class?
Ooh. What was the whole purpose
Why-
of it? How
yeah,
do you feel about
why
it? What
did
was
you,
your motivation?
Yeah, why
for
did
it?
you not learn anything? Was it because there was nothing to learn, or you didn't want to?
Ah,
Yeah.
I want everyone to ask themselves that question. Because if you're a student, that's a really good question to ask yourself.
That's a phenomenal one.
That's a beautiful one. I like that.
Well, if that's it,
Yep.
I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Of course.
Can I just have you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm James Ampia. One thing people will really be surprised about me is that I love singing. Or I do sing, yeah.
And how long have you been doing that for?
I can suggest 2 years. Yeah. I'm kind of that person where, as she was saying, I don't meet people and I don't know. When I meet you or when I meet people, the first thing they see in me is James likes joking, very jovial person, and they don't see the parts where, so they kind of find it funny because they first get to meet the jovial part of James. So once they see that James is singing, they're like, is that really James? And that's so funny. I don't know why people find it funny, but I do love singing and I will continue to sing. Yeah.
And what do you like to sing? Like any specific genre or song?
Like gospel.
Gospel?
Yeah.
So do you feel like God led you to singing, or do you feel like you pushed yourself in there and He's just said, okay,
No, I feel like God led me to sing.
God led you
Yeah.
to sing?
And can you point to like what brings you like the most enjoyment about singing? Is there something you can point to, or is it just something unexplainable about it?
I think it's just unexplainable.
Wow.
I just love it. Yeah.
Like it just brings you euphoria. Like just
Exactly.
happiness.
Exactly. It just brings me euphoria.
And if anyone like knows about psychology, you have that pyramid, and there's like the transcendence area where you want to like you achieve the most highest feeling that you can. So a lot of people feel it with eating good food. A lot of people feel
Right.
it when they're making connections. So you feel like you are achieved and you feel fulfilled when you sing.
Exactly. Right.
If you don't mind me asking, you said you started 2 years ago.
No, like from childhood, I knew I was singing, but
Okay.
I was kind of will I say shy
Mhm.
to bring it out, and yeah, my environment wasn't. I'm actually from a music home where at least everyone plays an instrument or something. My grandfather sings, but people didn't see me as the person who also would be singing, because I actually play the trumpet, but I've stopped for some time now. I have a trumpet and I just love anything music. Yes, exactly.
And do you still continue to play the trumpet, or have you kind of laid off that?
I've laid off.
You laid
Yeah.
off? Any reason as to why you just like singing more in general and have the time for that?
Any reasons to why I love singing?
Or like the reason why you kind of laid off the trumpet, is it just because you wanted to focus on singing, or
No, yeah, one thing too is I wanted to join a particular band so that, because trumpet is kind of the kind of instrument you can't just play. Oh, I feel you can't just play it in your house because it's kind of noisy. So I had that I don't want to disturb people in the environment kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So I just laid off.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm sure I'll go back to playing the trumpet.
So you were saying you knew that you were supposed to do this since you were a child, but you didn't really do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I loved singing as a child to myself, kind of, and I didn't bring it out, kind of. Yeah, I didn't bring. So I was just James, singing to myself. People didn't even. My parents or people around me didn't know I love singing. Yeah, so it's just 2 years ago where I just had this feeling that no, this is what I want to do. I want to be singing. So I should just let people know that yes, this is the way I want to go. So right now, those who know me now will know that yeah, at least I know how to sing. But those who know me then will kind of be very surprised that I'm singing now. But they'll get over it.
Was there any relief when you were able, like again, like 2 years ago, you're like, okay, I want to show others I can sing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did it feel? I mean,
You said?
like how does it feel to like be open and honest about it?
It feels good. Really feels good. So like I'm myself now. Yeah.
Amazing.
So would you want to gain more experience, like events and opportunities to start more singing? Or how do you sing it? Where are you allowing that skill set in your life? How do you open that up to people?
By joining the choir.
Okay, so you're in the
I'm
choir
in the
right
choir
now.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in the choir now. Exactly.
Would you be open to singing the national anthem and everything? Like
Where?
for events and stuff like that, basketball
Time would
games.
tell.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah, time would tell.
I love that mentality, just going with the flow.
Exactly.
That's good. That's good.
Anything else?
Not really.
Not really.
I'm
Well,
fine. Yeah.
Thank you for your time, man. Really, thank you.
Thank you very much too.
As always, thank you for listening to the You Talk We Listen podcast. Special thanks to Mia, the co-host for today's episode, everyone that did interviews, and also WXOU. Please listen to their podcast and other material. They're a phenomenal organization on campus, and I can't recommend them enough if you do plan on starting a podcast yourself. Beyond that, I won't be doing a podcast episode next week due to Thanksgiving, but after that, we'll resume our normal programming. Thank you.